Thank you. I want to thank the musicians, very talented musicians accompanying me tonight. Ms. Kendra Lowe, who was on the piano, and also Mr. Bart Olson, who's on the percussion, and he'll come back later. Thought 6, my mission and the power of religious freedom. I loved my mission, and while I could go on and on about it, I will share a brief story. One of the people I grew to know and love was a single mother named Blanca. Every time I think of her, I just get, teary-eyed. It's what the mission does to you. Blanca was originally from Cuba. She grew up Catholic, but during her time in Cuba, they were not allowed to practice religion, or else they would be arrested. They had closed down all places of worship, so she and a small group of Christians would have to meet in secret in a small home so that they could worship the God they loved and relied upon. She found her way to Chile, where my companion and I met her. Together with her 2 children, we shared God's plan. And I will never forget when she said, quote, "I can't explain what I'm feeling right now. I just know that it's true." Blanca taught me the importance of religious freedom. What does it really mean to have your freedom taken away from you? I've never had to worry about being arrested for praying. But here was Blanca, who left the home she knew in Cuba for freedom to worship the God she loved, and so that she could live her life in a way that she could dedicate it to Him. Something that I somewhat had taken for granted. How blessed we are that we can live in a country established on liberty and justice for all, where the First Amendment to the United States Constitution states, quote, "Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion, or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech or of the press, or the right of the people peaceably to assemble, and to petition the government for a redress of grievances." These men who we've read about in our history books, George Washington, John Adams, Thomas Jefferson, Benjamin Franklin, John Hancock, were men who had beliefs founded in God. They sought for freedom and rights not just for themselves, but for their country. They helped establish a country rooted in ancient principles to worship God freely and in a more powerful way than previously permitted, having been weighed down by British rule before. Even though their lives and reputation were at stake in the decision to stand up for what they believed, they declared these precious rights in a Declaration of Independence and later in the Constitution. Their decision to stand up for their beliefs was not easy, and a lot was on the line. In the book, The Miracle of America, Birth of a Nation, by William S. Norton and Brian P. Trotter, I quote, It is of particular note that if the war for independence had been lost, these good men and their families would have been tried for treason, the penalty for which was not just death, but far, far worse. After a horrifying and excruciatingly long process, when spirit and flesh had been unmercifully parted, their corded remains would have been scattered across the countryside, so that their final resting place would be unknown, unnamed, and unhonored. And yet, in spite of this threat, these stalwart men pursued their righteous path, pressing forward with faith in their Creator. We may ask ourselves, if the task rested upon our shoulders, would you have signed it? Close quote. The freedom fighters did not fully understand what their courage would lead to and if their lives would be cut short for their simple decisions to stand up for their beliefs. But do you think they would have imagined that over 300 million people would now be living in this country, founded on principles of a nation under God and liberty, almost 300 years later? Look at us here today. We are their results of simple but bold decisions to rise up with courage for truth and light. We won't see the effects now, but know that our own simple decisions will make an everlasting impact on our future generations. You and I are building the foundation of our children's and our children's children's lives. If any of you are wondering how to begin using this freedom of living openly and outwardly your beliefs, may I quote a well-known phrase: love thy neighbor as thyself. This leads to thought 7, of serving others. There's no decision that has impacted me and changed me more than the decision to serve. On my mission, I was able to live 2 years of service that was dedicated to others and dedicated to God. And coming from the entertainment industry, I may have gotten a little caught up in the how much more can I do to get people to see me way of thinking. I learned on my mission that the exact opposite is where love is born. Because it is not all about you. It is not all about me. There are people who have nothing according to the world's terms of money or fame, and yet they hold the key to the secret of life. What brings joy and happiness? I needed to go to people who no one knew about to find it. I needed to work on a one-on-one relationship with God that maybe others wouldn't understand because it wasn't in a selfie or Snapchat for everyone to look at. And I will tell you that it sure feels good to have the freedom to have followed that and not be chained to feelings of having to follow the crowd or of seeking out the crowd's attention. You don't have to get sucked into social media's beliefs of what you need to be successful and happy. Now this leads to thought 8, understanding others and understanding yourself. I had a recent experience that helped me gain better insight in what religious freedom meant for me personally, and also how we learn from mistakes and understanding one another's perspectives. Just this weekend before last, I was watching the LDS Worldwide General Conference. I felt impressed to share some of the quotes that impacted me, especially with it being Easter weekend. One of the quotes I decided to share on my Twitter feed was from the president of the Quorum of the 12 Apostles, Boyd K. Packer, where he stated, quote, "But romantic love is incomplete. It is a prelude. Love is nourished by the coming of children who spring from that fountain of life entrusted to couples in marriage. Conception takes place in a wedded embrace between husband and wife." Now, I did not type it all down fast enough in my notes. While the first part struck me saying romantic love is incomplete, it is a prelude, I didn't take time to really consider how it ended. I mixed what I thought I heard into the quote, saying, expressed between a man and a woman in marriage, instead of entrusted to couples in marriage, as Boyd K. Packer said. Twitter only allows 150 characters. So the quote didn't fit in one tweet. I added the part that didn't fit into another tweet, which only showed the remaining words expressed between a man and a woman in marriage. I didn't realize that over the weekend, I would receive thousands of angry comments misinterpreting the line into an anti-gay, homophobic political statement that would get sucked into the current Indiana debate. Though I do firmly believe in God's order of the family, never had I intended to imply homophobic, belittling political statements. However, the damage had been done. I was now living what had always been my fear before my mission, of being misunderstood and taken the wrong way. When my manager informed me of what had happened, I quickly released an apology for anyone who had misunderstood my romantic love being a prelude tweet. Now, although I did not quote verbatim what President Boyd K. Packer said, I would like to share why I felt so impressed to share his message. I hope people can look at the fact that love is more than just a one-night stand. I pray that people take seriously how powerful sexual intimacy is, because I know it is God-given power to enhance everlasting relationships in marriage, and even has power to bring new lives into this world, which is attached with new responsibility. Sex is not designed for selfish pleasure-seeking. It is a pact between husband and wife that enhances their bond, and that bond can enhance even more with the coming of children. There is nothing more valuable to me than my family, and I hope that we treat the gift of families and the powers that form families with the importance and sacredness that they deserve. I realized how an innocent mistake could be read wrong, jump to quick conclusions, bring offense and fear, and end with bitter remarks, leaving both sides hurt. I believe we all have taken offense at one time or another to things we did not fully understand. It takes patience, love, and humility to be willing to understand where someone else is coming from. This experience has helped me. My reaction before may have been to cover up my mistakes and hide in fear, but now I am beginning to learn that in order to understand others, I need to love them enough to help them know why what I shared mattered so much to me, and then listen to what matters most to them. It is about giving your best to show who you really are and to become the better you. To have the freedom of beliefs that help you find hope, that there is room to become your best. To express in your art, your passion, your talents, and your faith, your hope for a better world, and the hope to make a positive impact on the lives of those around you. You have this freedom. You don't have to keep secret what matters most to you and be like young-aged Blanca and hide. You have strength to stand up and make a difference. And as you stand up, you become a leader of light instead of a follower of fear. In conclusion, I hope each of us, wherever our religious beliefs are based, can make the arrangements in our lives so that we may continue to dedicate time to serve others. I learned that there is power in a smile, a simple hello, a prayer for another, and trust in each other. When we take the time to serve each and every person that is within our reach, we come to realize how we truly are one. That we are connected no matter how different our upbringings or circumstances are. Through service, we remove the chains of greed, pride, anger, and judgment to uncover the links that connect us together. Love, it is there. It is part of our makeup as humans, because whether we choose to express love or not, it is constantly flowing from a higher source. We are all loved by the same Creator, and service is what unveils His love for each of us. I encourage you, my brothers and sisters, to find this love for yourself, and as you discover it, may you help others feel it through you. And this is my humble prayer. we'd like to leave you with a song that is really special to me. And may God bless all of you. Thank you.